a lot of people think that you have to go and find all of these different celebrities for your business to pop, and they forget the significance of the layperson, of the people every day who people respect.
Yep.
You know, the people that carry the most respect aren't always popular with people who they don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
But the people within their community, they carry a lot of weight. And so I connected early with a lot of the entrepreneurs, people similar as me, and we were able to build together. And I'm a real big on supporting them too.
Yeah.
You know, like if you support me, I'm looking for a way to
Right.
support you for the rest of my life. Like for the rest of my life, like I'm committed to finding a way to support you, even if if I'm not interested in what it is you do. Cause that's how we recycle these dollars, like, and that's how we build this community.
Hey you, welcome to Shades of Content, a show that teaches entrepreneurs how to effectively use content to market their business and stay content while doing it. I'm your host, Patrice, a wife, a mom of 3, and a 15-year public relations and marketing professional who decided to open a brick and mortar content studio 4 years ago. And I honestly haven't looked back since. Join me as I share my experiences and the experiences of other entrepreneurs who, like me, are navigating this maze of owning a business, running a family, and trying to stay sane and healthy while doing it. I'll tell you, it's an amazingly challenging journey, but I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. See you soon. This episode is brought to you by Black Girl Holidays, the content planner and calendar that highlights Black women, Black girl magic 24/7, 365. And you guys, all new for 2022, Black Girl Holidays is not only a calendar like it was before, but it's also a full planner, okay? Get your Black Girl Holidays content calendar or planner today by visiting www.blackgirlholidays.com, and make sure you use that Shades of Content coupon code so you can get a percentage off. Again, blackgirlholidays.com, or just tap the link in the show notes, y'all. Hey, we are back for another episode, and this is our 70th. This is our 70th episode. I can't believe it. Something that I started 2 years ago, actually probably still 2 years ago, 2 years and 1 month, if I'm being honest. We're here to number 70, and it's really great, and I'm still very happy that I'm doing it. If you're watching, you see that we have a guest.
Yes.
Yes. But actually, before we get into our guest, I feel like there's a lot of new viewers and listeners because we have this special guest. So I'm Patrice, I'm the host of Shades of Content, and Shades of Content is the show that teaches content marketing to Black millennial entrepreneurs, because in this day and age, content is king, right? And if you're not using content to tell your story, to share your business, then you are missing out on a lot of opportunities to connect with your audience and make new audience members. So I have someone here who has built a brand based off of like just doing amazing work, but then also built a community using content, right? Because I think content is what is making people find you and want to be a part of this vibe, okay? So you probably have seen this person and you're like, oh, I know who that is. So, hey, Rich.
Hey, what's
or
up?
Mo, or Maurice, or whatever.
Hey.
I was like, what do I call you?
You know
But
how we always go by many names, right?
Names. The owner of Rich Grillz.
Yes,
with
Rich
a Z.
Grillz. Yeah.
And I became very familiar with your brand a couple years ago. I used to manage Chef Tobias.
Yeah.
I remember when he got his grill, and I feel like one of my homegirls got a grill from me too. Her name is Chrissy, but you probably deal with so many people. So like grills are a thing. Like they've I think kind of been resurrected. I don't know. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how you've used social to build community. But I do also first want to just start out, because this is like a very niche, interesting industry, right? So you're from the DMV?
Yes, born and raised, every part of it. I'm a DMV mutt.
Okay. So how do we give me a background.
Background, how I got into grills.
Before that, like you growing up, school, that kind of stuff.
So I moved around a lot when I was younger. moved around a lot when I was younger. I was born in D.C. and lived in D.C. for a while. And unfortunately, my sister got into an accident where she was shot in both her legs. So we moved out, moved to Maryland, and that kind of changed a lot of the things that was going on with me in my life. Education was really important. So after I graduated from Oxon Hill High School.
I went to Oxon Hill
Oh
too.
yeah,
What
you
year did you
already
graduate?
2007.
Oh my God, I'm so old. I graduated in '01. Hey,
Oh,
Clipper. Oh
hey,
my
what's up? Then you
God.
probably know my sister then,
Okay, what's her name?
Kiana Jennings.
What year she graduated?
2003,
This name sounds
2002.
familiar. Okay, we'll
Yeah,
connect
we're
offline
gonna
on that
connect
one.
online on that one. Yeah, we generational over there. But
Wow.
yeah, I went to Bowie State University for my undergrad, and then I studied history, and I focused on gender discrimination in the civil rights movement,
Okay.
which was like a whole nother world. Primarily Ella Baker and her time in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference with Martin Luther King. And then I went on to Towson and I started studying, I got my master's in European humanities.
Wow.
And that's kind of what got me, that transitioned into my career in grills and
Okay.
dental regalia and custom jewelry and all of those types of things. Yeah.
Okay, because one of the things that I wondered and that I thought about immediately, like when I see Rich Grillz and I see again this resurgence, right? Because I think when we initially think of grills, we're thinking Southern, we're thinking hip hop, we're thinking that culture
Yeah.
of the people who are people who are wearing it. But when I think of who is making it, I always think of like Middle Eastern, like that world.
Yeah.
And so I would love to know how your master's education and that just that research, how does that then become this
Yeah.
for you? But then also just like maybe I'm wrong, right? Like maybe there are people like what's the guy's name? Dr. Teeth. What's his name? He's like Asian or something, like in Houston or something. You know what I'm talking about? I
Johnny
forget his name.
Dang.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like this is just a very interesting space, and so I do wonder how it all connects.
Yeah, and you're right. It's definitely an industry driven by people outside of the African American community and outside the African diaspora. I got into grills. It's actually a very interesting story, and it kind of relates to that. I was at Towson University, and I was studying the European humanities, and I had this class called the Jewish Philosophy of the Human Being, and I'm reading this book called The Kuzari by a writer. He's a Jewish philosopher, poet, and all these things named Judah Halevi. So he writes this book called The Kuzari, and it's about a king who's transitioning who wants to convert from his traditional faith to a Semitic religion. So he brings a representative from Islam, a representative from Judaism, and a representative from Christianity. And he has them all like give their spiel so he can decide or make a conscious decision over what religion he wants to convert to. So this is 7th century post-Christ. So the perspectives were so rich in the culture that I really couldn't understand it with the contemporary models that I had in my own community. So I had started a gold buying company about 2 years before that, and we were all over Baltimore. And I'm buying jewelry from the streets and reselling it to jewelers. And of course, we just talked about the diversity of the jewelry industry. Most of them were Russians, Muslim, all different types of humans, right? So one of the guys, Firuz, he was Muslim guy from Russia, and we locked in and we started really getting cool because I'm talking to him about this book. I'm asking him questions, and he brings me this CD about 3 prophets. It was Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. So we get real cool, and one day he's like, yo, bro, like, I don't want you to get offended, things like that. And he's kind of saying, you know, I can't wear gold jewelry. but I make gold jewelry, and it's primarily bought from like your people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, bro, where did you learn how to make jewelry at?
Right.
And he says this place outside of Russia. And I'm being honest with him, like, bro, I'm never going to that place. Like, he goes, I mean, I'll teach you. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, cool. What I didn't realize is that it was a cultural upheaval of everything that I understood as far as building and liberation and creating a means for people to decide their own destinies in life. This was a way that they were using to bring their family members from a worse situation to a better situation. You know, a lot of the people who I was in community with didn't speak English, but they all had trades. It kind of was in that Du Boisian, Booker T. Washington type of discussion of rather like what's more important, higher education or learning a trade that you could take anywhere in the world. And I saw them use this trade of jewelry making and transition into real estate, transition into trucking and logistics. And this was kind of like the roadmap that I had for what I wanted to build for my own people, you know.
Yeah.
And that was 2011. I've been making grills since 2012. And yeah.
Okay. Why grills? And so I know that you're scaling your transition and you're not pivoting because the grill still exists. You're also making custom jewelry now. But why was grills the first, the hub? Like, why was that what you wanted to start?
Yeah, I actually started off making custom jewelry.
Okay.
So custom jewelry is how I learned to trade. And I was actually designing clothes at that time. Me and one of my friends, we had a really cool, popular clothing line back in the day. And we had this logo, and I kind of used that logo to make that was like my first piece of jewelry. Started off as just like a single layer plate under 1 millimeter thick. And then I created another piece and soldered the two plates together to create like this two-dimensional type of feel.
Are you doing this in your house?
No.
Okay,
So,
like not now, but back then, like 10, 11 years ago, like.
We were doing it in, I won't say his name, but Firuz's mentor's home.
I see.
Was like this factory in the middle of the city. And that's kind of
Baltimore.
what we were created everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is so interesting.
Yeah, it was it was really cool. It was really cool to be humbled in that way. You know, I'm a material person. I love material things. I make no doubt about it. I feel like Egyptian pharaohs or Kemetic pharaohs were importing goods from all over the world. Many of the African prints that people enjoy today started off as trade from different nations around the world. You know, they're not authentically African pieces, but so I've always been into finding the finest of things and enjoying them to their maximum. But what that taught me was none of that matters. It's a connection to the things you create that really determine the wealth you carry with you. So
That's very interesting because I'm finding myself having this conversation a lot, and you see it a lot now. You see it on designer and like this idea of like Black women and luxury and deserving luxury. And so it's become now this thing where designer has become synonymous with luxury. And that is something that I challenge, right? Because while everybody deserves what they want, like you can literally have every single thing you want, and who am I to say don't spend your money on this? I don't, just spend your money, blow a bag on whatever you want to blow your bag on. But we have to be really clear on what the value that we give to things.
yes.
And I think even with something like jewelry, there's historical, there's meaning behind, like when you said the Egyptian regalia, and like there's like this ain't just wearing a gold chain. You know what I'm saying? There's there's much deeper levels and meanings to that. So,
Yeah.
it's just interesting. And with you being a scholar and understanding that, I wonder if our people, your customers, are like, do you have these conversations with your customers?
Oh yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about my what I do is that we have very, very rich conversations. The discourse at my shop is just so lively. It's literally one of my favorite places to be in the world.
Yeah.
And I love sharing community with my clients because we get into we get into the connection. Like, what do you want? Like, why do you want it? Like, how can we make this something personable to you,
Right.
But then at the end of the day, with me, it's like what you invest into it is going to matter as well. Like, do you feel like when you're going and spending money on these designer items, do you feel like you're investing in something?
Right.
Or do you feel like you're just purchasing something that will make you feel good right now, or make you feel good when you wear it? Like, I love just the aesthetic of things. I love that, finding an item that just has fit a picture in my head that I've had for years. And
Right.
when I talk about jewelry, I call people's jewelry, like when people get custom chains from me, these are trophies,
Right.
Like, these are trophies. These are like vigils to something you covet very closely. They're totems. There's something that carry an energy. There's something that carry a vibration. There's something that reminds you and take you back to a place in space and time that you never want to forget. And gold carries such special properties. It's not a metal, it's a mineral. And just understanding all of those things, and also making sure that my space is also educational. Like, you're not just about to purchase gold or diamonds from me
Right.
without getting the education on the differences between 10 karat, 14 karat, 18 karat, 22 karat. The differences between a flawless diamond, a VVS diamond, a VS diamond, a SI diamond, an I diamond, the color of the
Right.
diamonds. What is the significance of the cuts of the diamonds? Are you wasting money purchasing diamonds, these little diamonds in the first place? All of these things, you're going to get the crash course, because it's really about passing down education.
Right.
Passing down education, because for so long, because there has been a cultural barrier between the people who consume most of the jewelry that's made popular today and the people who produce that jewelry, a lot of people have been had the sheep's wool put over. They've been
Yeah.
hoodwinked
Yeah.
and been made very bad deals and end up paying for something and not getting exactly what they thought they purchased. So that's all that I'm about. Like, if you decide that you want to shop with Rich Grillz, or you decide you want to go to Tyson's Galleria and blow a big bag, at least have some type of insight into what you're bringing into your home and
That's
what you're
deep.
putting on your body.
That is, and as you were talking, I'm just thinking about a chain is like so close to your heart. You know what I'm saying? And it's right in here. So it does have to be, you don't have to make everything deep, but that it is a mineral. Like, there's real
Yeah.
energy in these precious metals that are in the earth.
Yes.
So to take that and change it, morph it, create it into what you want that thing to look like is it's actually very personal.
Facts. It's a stage for your head. Like,
That's
like
right.
the head is significant is a significant piece. Like, some people associate it with the mind,
Yeah.
and other things is the seat of the mind. So
Yeah.
prop it up the right way.
Prop it up the
Don't
right way.
don't 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 do it wrong.
I just bought my son. He's 15. He's fly. That's my boo. His second gold chain. He's very specific with the one he wanted, and it's for his birthday. I got him a cross pendant,
Yeah.
and he just did not want to take it off. Of course, played it in an AAU game, popped it, so it's now being fixed. But just as him being a 15-year-old and wanting that, again, the second one I bought him, but having it and he just felt good. You know, I think he put it on and really felt like a boss. You know what I'm saying? Like that nigga, you know?
Yeah, you feel good, you play good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Are you struggling to find a production company to film your new web show? Masscom Guru Productions is the best choice to bring your vision to life. We provide broadcast quality video and audio ready for TV and streaming. Our passion is to tell stories that embody inclusion, innovation, and authenticity. That allows us to be our clients' #1 choice for video production. Book us now at masscomguruproductions.com.
Okay, so you make custom jewelry and then, but then it's grill. So like, what happens where you say we're gonna focus on teeth in that element of it?
Yeah, so biggest thing is that I thought it was an underrepresented market. If I wanted to make custom chains, I had plenty of people who were doing that already, that had a name in that field of creation
Right.
already. So with the grills, it was something that I was like, people not even wearing these, much less being incentivized to go into business making them. And when I first focused and named my company Rich Grillz, a lot of people didn't think that I would, be able to produce enough sales to keep this thing going for 10 years,
10 years.
Yeah, right. And I mean, I didn't really question it, but I was just build Rome and people will come. That's always been my mentality,
Right.
And
do it right. If you quality product.
You do it right, and people will want to support you. If you carry a certain reputation,
Yep.
if you are known for doing good business and you're known for not steering people in the wrong direction, and you don't carry on that caricature of a scammer,
Yep.
People will want to, if you make people feel good when they're shopping with you, they want to shop with you again.
Again and again.
So my biggest focus was return clients, making sure that my clients came back.
Exactly.
So I would love when my clients was torn between two grills, because the only thing I got to do is make sure whichever one they chose comes out perfect, and they'll come back for the second one.
Yep.
Or if you get the bottoms, you're going to eventually want the tops,
Yep.
So I always look at my clients like, you with me forever. You with me whenever you got it in the budget.
Yep.
That's how I carried it. So that's really what inspired it. And then what took it through the roof is when I first started, I got my logo created on Fiverr.
We love a Fiverr now.
Yeah, I started off as a Fiverr, and then I met this dude.
Let me pause you. If you don't know about Fiverr, Fiverr is a very great marketplace to pretty much find talent that can create and do anything you need. I have used Fiverr to edit these very episodes that you have watched on this show, all of the things, and they typically use labor from overseas. I mean, there's labor in the U.S. too, but you have really, really great, talented people that can do it for the low.
Yeah.
So, not to put anybody out of business, but if you are in a place of just needing some work done, check out Fiverr, Fiverr. And I do think there's a link in the show notes for that.
For sure. Major key.
Major.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I totally took you off.
No,
right?
you're
So
good.
okay.
I had made my first logo on Fiverr.
There we go.
It was cool. And then I met this guy in Miami through another friend. And he was like, hey, bro, I hate your logos. But come to find out, he's a graphic designer. My biggest pet peeve in life is when somebody criticizes me about something they can't offer a solution to. Like, if you don't have the answer to the question, don't even pose.
Don't even bring it.
Don't even make the fact that no one has an answer to the question the biggest thing. Like, because it's not productive or conducive to progress for me. So he has this critique, but he was the most qualified person in the world to help me conjure up a solution.
Yeah.
He creates this logo for me, and I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, it's a wrap now. I'm like, it's over now. And this guy named Lammy Daisme, my Haitian brother,
My
and
husband's Haitian. My kids are Haitian.
He designs all the logos, started designing all of these things for me.
Wow.
And it really elevated the company and elevated the business. And I'm always going to be indebted to him for his contribution to what this joint is
Nice.
and what this joint will become.
And so you built, like I said earlier, like this very loyal community of my former personal trainer, Anwar. He gets his grills from you. He's always like,
Yeah.
like so many people that I know and like good, really good people that I
You talk
love.
about all family.
Yeah, family, right? Like these are insane, right? And was it always like this conscious decision to use social to grow this? Or is it just like you're selling something, you're creating something that just is perfect for social? And so it's like you don't pay for advertising or anything like that, right? It's all organic.
It's
Maybe
all
I'm wrong.
organic.
Right.
It's all organic. One thing I will say, especially with the direction of your show, Shades of Content and
Yeah.
everything, is really focus on your SEO, your search engine optimization, and that will save you a lot of money as far as marketing your businesses. And you can search online on YouTube and things like that for more in-depth processes on how to go about getting that type of things right. But that was really the first thing that really caused a big spike in people paying attention to my
see.
company. But on the streets, it's not really about social media to me. People might see me on Instagram or see the company on Instagram and things like that, but I get more clients from personal trainers, your favorite chef, like this person, that person. Right. A lot of people think that you have to go and find all of these different celebrities for your business to pop, and they forget the significance of the layperson, of the people every day who people respect.
Yep.
The people that carry the most respect aren't always popular with people who they don't know.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? But the people within their community, they carry a lot of weight. And so I connected early with a lot of the entrepreneurs, people similar as me, and we were able to build together. And I'm a real big on supporting them too.
Yeah.
Like if you support me, I'm looking for a way to
Right.
support you for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, like I'm committed to finding a way to support you, even if I'm not interested in what it is you do. Cause that's how we recycle these dollars, like, and that's how we build this community. That's very important to me. And as far as like the imagery, my biggest thing was just to show like the diversity in the Black or African community.
Yeah.
We have a lot of diversity. It was a lot of diversity for me behind the scenes. So just getting that picture, it to me is worth 1,000 words, and I wanted to make sure that every word we added also contributed to a larger conversation. Of this idea of beauty, of this idea of decadence, of this idea of accessorizing your essence. Like all of those things were important to me, especially the further I got into my scholarly research, I'm still a student, so as the further I got into that, the more my business became like a sample size for the functional part of my philosophies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that this conversation was going to go there. Like you see what you see, and then you just kind of assume that it's what you see. But there's like so many deeper levels, and I think also like whenever you are creating a business, right? There's always what your customer sees, what the public sees. But typically, we all have like these deeper inner stories that are what brought it all together.
Yeah.
And so like I think that's why it's so important for people to talk about those things and share like the story behind the brand and like be like really honest about how you got to every step. I know with that you have a podcast network, right?
Yeah.
And so it's now giving other people, other business owners, other creatives other tastemakers the opportunity to do what you're doing, like right here in this chair. I do want to know how that came about.
Publishing is very important to me.
Okay.
Content is very important to me. Evidence of our existence is very important to me. That's what's going to last forever. We have such a finite existence in this world.
Very.
And sometimes we get fooled into believing that we're going to live forever, and our agency doesn't complement that belief. So early on, my goal was never to like become super popular in the podcast space or in the media space, or to monetize in the podcast space or media space. It was really just documenting the wealth of knowledge that I interact with on a daily basis, and also to show how eclectic it is. We got shows where we talk about capitalism, and shows that we talk of one of my favorite episode to this day talks about trauma and the trauma Black people experience, where they see graphic scenes of terror, ritualized trauma, ritualized terror and trauma like that we've received via media from one of my friends that I go to Temple University with, Jazz Evans and Toyo Abodaren. And then we'll transition into a show called Double Standards, where we just tackle all of the conversations about men and women and the battle of the sexist type vibe. But the whole goal is just to leave it for other people to witness, because if we don't leave remnants of our culture, we could very well lose it. And
It will be erased.
It will be
right?
erased. And that's the biggest thing. Like, it's a book called Civilization of Barbarism by Shankanta Diop, where he talks about nations forming. And nations form through not necessarily the conquering or unification of hundreds and thousands of smaller communities. But what ends up happening is, once this nation is formed, the memory of those communities and cities become lost in this new identity. And that's
some would argue, not to cut you off, that like creating this new identity and creating this larger community is for the betterment of the community, right? So because we're all one now, but there is the beauty is in each intricate detail of because that's what you bring to said community.
Yes.
And then you think about like deliberately erasing our culture, right? And like, I say this, I'm definitely, you clearly know way more about these things than I do. Well, maybe not, I don't know. We all have our different viewpoint.
Exactly.
But like, as an African-American person whose families were brought here, like my husband's Haitian.
Okay.
And his parents are, he's first generation. I mean, his parents still have very strong accents. We went to Haiti in 2015. We took the 15-year-old. We took him and like Haiti, right? And to go there and like see where my mother-in-law, like, that's crazy to me. Like, and yes, they too are from the diaspora, but there's just this connection that is just so much more. It's just, you can touch it.
Yeah.
Whereas me and my husband had this conversation all the time. I'd be like, yo, I can, but connecting to like that tribe is a lot more difficult for the African Americans, the community here, and so it's so easy for us. I feel like I'm going on a tangent, but we have assimilated to the American lifestyle.
Very much so.
Very much so. Like, we assimilated to the shit better than the white man has. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want that American dream. And no bull, I had this conversation with my husband yesterday. I was like, listen, that American dream is some bullshit. In my opinion, it's just stay broke, right? Like, the American dream is capitalism.
Yeah.
Right? Spend your money. I don't know.
I mean, that's definitely a big part of it. And is really it's a many
It's
things,
many,
you
yeah.
know. Like I don't want to reduce it to any one thing or say that it's the one thing that I'm gonna say over
Right,
the one thing
right.
you just said, because I think they all are forces that work together. Where it's well, the real thing that I always try to address is just this hegemony on popular things. So when I say classical music, you shouldn't just go straight to Beethoven.
Right.
You know, like when you hear the drums in Haiti or you hear the West African drums, that's a form of classical music to you. That automatically resonates with you if you've never heard it before in your life. Or just all of these different ideas, you know, like it's certain things that are embedded in our history and is embedded in our cultural memory that we have been propagandized to forget. And the purpose of shows like this and the purpose of what I'm trying to do in the media space again is to kind of reverse
Right.
some of that propaganda and show the linkage and the continuation of something that has existed for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. And if we wanted to exist for 1,000 and 1,000 and 1,000 more years and reverse a lot of the destruction that was done to our community and our relationship with our ancestors and the people who came before us, then we have to make a concerted effort to show that proof, to show that evidence.
We are here. We were here. I'm happy you say that. When my number one reason for doing this is not to promote my business. It's so my kids, when I pass, can have shit to watch.
Yes.
So they can hear my voice, so they can see me talking to cool people, and they can watch it whenever they want. That is the number one reason why I do this.
They're going to get to know you.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They are going to get to know you. The worst thing in the world is that when we lose a loved one, we don't have their voice anymore. Like, we can't, we're trying to replay things in their mind, those hour-long, 2-hour-long, 3-hour-long conversations I would have with my grandmother while she was here. Like, I'll hold and covet for the rest of my life. But I would pay every dollar I earn for the next 20 years to be able to listen to her just speak, you know, speak from her experiences, speak from her memories, speak from her ambitions again. Like, that's something, we don't understand how much of ourselves we pass on to the people that are close to us. And when we leave mediums and we leave content for them to revisit while we here and after we're gone, it's invaluable.
It's absolutely priceless.
Yes.
It's and it's beautiful. And I want people to start looking at themselves as like valuable contributors to the world.
Yes.
Like, we all have amazing things to say, and maybe it's not starting a show or like doing fucking reels on Instagram, right? But like, document however you deem fit. Maybe it's a voice note, I don't know, but like, we have so many tools.
So many.
Right?
Diaries, journals.
Yeah.
All of these things count.
All of it counts.
All of these things count. And a lot of people don't understand what we were thinking.
Yeah.
You know, while we were doing certain things,
doing
you
it.
know.
And I would even argue, like, I've started to I'm still alive, thank God. But I always think I might not wake up tomorrow. And I'm okay with that. Like, that's my time. It's also like leaving things for you, like, so you can remember what you felt like in that process, because as you build businesses and as you grow success and as you elevate to the person you're supposed to be, it's easy to forget like what it felt like.
That's real.
And that's in my opinion, like, when you think back to when I decided to start this business, really get serious, it was 2 days after I had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And hardest day of my life. But that's what led to here. And I don't ever want to forget what it felt like to be in that Bikram session. Like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I sweat it all out. And then I just was like, do it. So there's so much value in thinking you're valuable enough and your story is valuable enough to document it, to share it, and then learn the history of it, that's why you're just very cool to me, because there's this historical knowledge that you possess that is what's crafting like all of these things. I just think that is really cool.
That's real.
That's so cool. We could probably talk about this forever and ever and ever.
I just wanted to say that, now that we on episode 70, you don't really have to worry about waking up tomorrow because you're going to live forever.
Forever.
You're going to live forever. That's why publishing is important.
So important.
You're going to live forever, and most importantly, you're going to own your life.
Right.
Forever.
Forever.
So
own your life. Like, don't let other people tell your story.
Yes.
Okay, so we have Rich Grillz, we have the jewelry company, we have the network, a lot of different entities working together. I keep talking to people that got like 3 and 4 businesses. How are you, like, what is like leisure when you're not working? Does this feel like work? Like kind of like on a day, like you just chilling, what do you do?
I golf.
Okay, it's the golf for me.
I golf. I golf.
I love that.
I golf. My boy has a gender reveal party today at 3:30. And my other boy invited me to a private country club at 3 o'clock.
Ooh.
And I'm really trying to figure it out. I feel like I'm going to go to Target or something, buy a very nice gift, and link up with him around 8:30. But I'm a golfer. I love to play golf. And again, I'm still a student.
Okay.
So
you're getting
my PhD now.
At Temple.
At Temple, African College in African American Studies. So in my leisure time, like I write and read. If I'm not golfing, I'm writing and reading.
Wow.
Or watching something about
kids?
golf. No kids.
No kids. Married?
No, not married.
Okay.
Not married.
This is very interesting. Wow. You think you learn? I'd be learning things. Like, this is so cool. Again, we could literally have this conversation forever. Like I have so many questions, and I think I should get a grill.
I believe this is true.
I don't know. When I come to the spot, I don't have any ideas of what I want. I'm gonna come to the spot, and I want you to give me some options because I really don't know. I do wear my retainer at night. I try to wear it. Like I don't play about my teeth.
Wear your retainer.
Okay.
Wear your retainer.
Okay.
Very important. That's my pet peeve. You just go and spend all this money on getting your teeth right, and then you don't wear your retainer, and you lose all of that progress.
And this was, I heard our videographer say he had braces your second time. I've had braces for 3 times.
Yeah, wear that retainer.
Oh, it ain't a question now. That retainer,
wear that
that's my
retainer,
best
or
friend.
go get them to put that permanent one in there. Wear that retainer.
Wear that retainer. Let me go.
My brother behind the scenes.
You better wear that retainer.
When your time come, wear that retainer, for sure.
What's coming up for you? What is the rest of 2022 looking like? Have you ever thought about teaching a class, teaching people how to do grills? Or jewelry, custom jewelry, I don't know.
No, I'm a professor at Bowie State University.
Okay, you know what you're not about to do is keep adding all these things. Like, what the
I'm sorry, I just posted on my Instagram yesterday. I was in such a bad mood, and then I got an Outstanding Professor Award.
Oh my God.
In the mail, and that made my whole entire day. But I don't want to teach people how to make grills because I have so much more I would like to share that I feel like is a lot more valuable than any craft that I could pass down. So I'd rather talk about consciousness. I'd rather teach people about consciousness and culture.
I love that. There's the theme, individuals who do many things well often are ready to go to the next thing. Like the thing that you're known for, and correct me if I'm wrong, the thing that most people connect to you, not the thing you're known for, the thing most people connect to you. I like to be really deliberate about the things I say. The thing that most people connect to you, that's not the thing that you will probably be doing. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and
real.
Individuals like yourself, because I'm in the same space, like transparency moment. This thing, we ain't gonna be in here too much longer because it's four walls. That in my world, it's all closing in, right? Like to be confined to a space is just not kind of what I see for my life. Like I want to go to culinary school. I don't be a chef, but I just like eating and traveling the world. So like that's kind of where I see, you know. So it's just and someone would look at me and be like, "What do you mean? You have this? Why don't you want to have 7?" No. So I think it's also just being able to tap into like what you know is true for you, and not thinking you have to do what the world thinks you have to do.
That's real.
You know, this was such a great conversation.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yay! I think you should come back for another episode where we talk about culture and consciousness.
I'm with it.
I think that is a very great thing to talk about. I think, true story, I applied for Teach for America because I really wanted to be a teacher in college. I got to the interview process. You're familiar with Teach for America?
No.
Okay. Teach for America is a program created by white people that takes college kids, college graduates, and puts them in urban communities to teach. So it's usually white people who are going into urban communities and teaching. They do it for 2 years. Teach for America pays you to get your master's, and then they like go on and like become attorneys and shit, right? Okay. I wanted to do it because I thought that was like super cool. The second round of the interview, you have to do a sample lesson plan. And I did mine on the Black Panther Party. And I didn't make it to the next level. They was like, "Yeah, nah, you're out of here.
You're teaching for the wrong America."
Right. Yeah, we don't want these urban kids to know about them. You know what I'm saying?
Teach for.
My God. So we definitely gonna have you back for another conversation.
Yes.
You all can connect with Maurice. His links are all in the show notes. And you're in the DMV. Do you travel if people want, you know, custom regalia?
Oh yeah, we got fees for everything. Just reach out to me. We got a fee for you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I also think it's really cool that you have this really bright smile, because it just like if you have your grill on, it's just like awesome advertisement.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Like everybody doesn't have that smile, so you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This has been such a great, I love it. I love it. I love it. Shout out to my boo, Kim. Hey, Kim.
Hey.
She connected us. Kim was on one of the very first episodes of this podcast 2 years ago. Kim is my baby. I love her. Not my baby isn't like my little sis, like that's my boo. Like I love Kim. I'm so proud of her. She's a mom, she's an entrepreneur, and she's just like, her heart is
so pure and so rich.
Like Kim, girl, we love you.
Straight up.
Love her. So yeah, like definitely stay connected to the show, connect with Maurice, and like really kind of think about some of the things we talked about, you know, leaving a legacy, leaving content. You were here and ensuring that you own your story, right? And tell it, whether you're an entrepreneur or not. I just think you should. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the show. You didn't watch for this long. Tap the link, share it. And if you have questions, my email's in the show notes. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you next week. Holler. All right, now, y'all, don't forget to connect with Shades of Content on Instagram @Shades of Content, and with me, Patrice Camo, @Patrice Camo. And also be sure to rate this show, leave a review, and subscribe, because that's actually the only way that we're going to grow. I'll see you next week.